Mark 12, 13 to 38, 37. So the scribe and the Pharisees and were talking, and then they wanted Pharisees and Herodian. They wanted to trap Jesus. They asked him about paying tax. Jesus answered them, and he said, "Pay to the Caesar the things that are Caesar, and to God the things that are God's." And they were utterly amazed at him because they were trying to trap him and they couldn't. And not only that, Jesus' answer was profound and accurate. And then some Sadducees then began questioning him, making a hypothetical example about marriage and whose will they be. And Jesus answered that we will be like the angels in heaven, where we don't marry, and we are not given in marriage. So, and then Jesus talking about when they rise from the dead. That means it's not an if, it's a when. We will all be raised again. We will all die, and at once, but then we will have two births. So one is our physical birth, and another is the resurrection. And everyone will be resurrected. Some will be resurrected into heaven, some into eternal punishment, depending on which way we choose to live our life. If we choose to want to know God, or if we choose to not want to know God. And so he said that, and then so he addresses that the dead will rise, and then he furthered that idea. He said that God said that I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Why would he be talking about dead people? It's him saying that these people will be raised again. These people will be resurrected into living beings, and God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. And then not only that, it sounds like, I mean, we read it and it seems like it's a very civil like conversation, like, oh, someone asks and then Jesus responds, and someone asks and then Jesus responds. But it sounds like on verse 28, this is actually a very kind of active like conversation, to the point that he thinks that he heard them arguing, or he thought they were arguing. And then he recognized that Jesus answered these scribes, Pharisees, Herodians, Sadducees well. And then he asked, what commandment is the foremost of all? And Jesus answered this very well. He said that first love God, I'm summarizing, paraphrasing, and then love people. And the scribe said to him, well said, teacher, you truly stated. And he re-emphasized that we need to love God with all the heart, with all the understanding and the strength, and then to love our neighbor as ourselves, and much more than the burnt offering and sacrifices. So this scribe really do know the heart of God and the intent of the laws and prophets. And Jesus saw that he had answered intelligently, and he said that you are not far from the kingdom of God. Now that I don't understand. I mean, like, does that mean he's to a point where he can now have put his faith in God? Or what does it mean? Like, he understand with his head enough that now it's starting to travel to his heart? Maybe. We don't know. But then it said no one dare any longer to question him. He pretty much answered everything like out of the ballpark. But then when Jesus start asking, he then asked, why is Christ the son of David? But yet himself, David said in his spirit that the Lord said to my Lord. So then David called him Lord. So in what sense is he his son? And that confounded people, and I don't think anyone is able to respond to that, because only Jesus knows the reason. Because Jesus existed before David. Jesus was with God at the beginning. He is a heart of God. He is God. He is a personhood in the Trinity. However, he was born into the line as a descendant of David. And so we don't understand fully, but we see that God writes in such a way or orchestrates things in such a way that when we look back, it makes sense. But when we're not there yet, it doesn't make any sense, and we can't understand how it's going to play out. And I think that is also one of his strategy to not let Satan know what he is planning to do, even though he revealed everything, so that his word can be proven to us, but yet not allowing Satan to thwart his plan. And because Satan, if he knows what God will do, I think he will mimic it, or he will find some way to discredit it. But so far throughout history, he hasn't been able to discredit God or prove any of God's word to be false. And so the large crowd enjoy listening to him. And so that's an interesting remark, that the crowd enjoy listening to him. And elsewhere in the Bible, it said that he's preached as one with authority, and I think that's why he because he is the author of it. So yeah, now that I'm saying that, I think think about my favorite book, my favorite person that I want to meet, and being able, or the favorite book, and then the author, and be able to ask him question, and him answering all my query about that movie or book. And that is this is 10 billion times better than that. And so that's what I thought when I read this.